The Flash has a long and fascinating publication history, with the character's roots originating with Jay Garrick, the first Flash, back in the Golden Age in 1940's Flash Comics #1. So it should come as no surprise that the Flash has many alternates floating around in the multiverse, some of which have not had the most sincere of intentions. So today we're counting down some of those sinister speedsters, with our list of the top 10 evil versions of the Flash. And at number 10 is the Reverse Flash. Let's just get this one out of the way. We had to include Reverse Flash on our list because, for all intents and purposes, he's literally the opposite of the Flash, meaning he's of ill intent. There's been a few Reverse Flashes over the years, starting off with 1949's The Rival, who had recreated Jay Garrick's formula. After he was rejected from the scientific community, he turned to a life of crime, and shared his version of the formula with other criminals. It only gets worse from there with the later Reverse Flashes, especially Eobard Thawne, who first appeared in 1963 with the alias of the Reverse Flash, who used his genius-level intellect and newfound powers to go on a crime spree. He soon became obsessed with replacing Barry Allen, utilizing time travel to mess things up for the Scarlet Speedster. Up next, number 9 is the Bizarro Flash, post-crisis. Created by Bizarro via his duplicator eye-ray power, kinda crazy but more on that in a sec, this Bizarro Flash is actually the third Flash in DC history that was part of the Bizarro family. The first was in 1967's Lois Lane number 74, and was fairly harmless. The second was in All-Star Superman, and aided the Man of Steel, despite being the slowest man on Earth. But the modern-age Bizarro Flash is a tad more nefarious, or rather gluttonous. So that duplicator ray that shoots out of Bizarro's eyes, it was capable of duplicating anyone that Bizarro had encountered, including the Flash and the rest of the Justice League. This Flash is a sad version of the man he was crafted after, morbidly obese, constantly eating, and ultimately very slow. He even has a mustard stain as his logo instead of a lightning bolt. Up next, number 8 is the Whizzer. There's two characters who went under the alias of the Whizzer, one of which is an homage to the Flash and part of a group called the Squadron Sinister. They were part of an unofficial JLA Avengers crossover. Essentially, the Squadron were a parody of characters from DC's Justice League, the Whizzer being the parody of the Flash. The character would later be renamed to Speed Demon, starting off as a villain for Spider-Man when he reappeared in Amazing Spider-Man number 222 in 1981. Up next, number 7 is No Rules to Follow. In Justice League International's 5th annual 1994 issue, there was a storyline called No Rules to Follow, and it featured a world that despised those with superpowers. This caused 10 metahumans to band together, and show the world that their powers could be used for good, which sort of backfired, since 5 of them went a little rogue, including the Flash. After trying to contain a nuclear meltdown, the heroes only made things worse, and the Flash and co. decided to start raiding military installations that previously hunted down their kind. Up next, number 6 is Surge. Also known as Luca Loletti, Surge was a member of the Hand of God, a superhero team with 5 members who worked out of the Vatican in order to protect the Catholic Church from superhuman threats. But Surge was corrupted eventually, and was paid to assassinate the Pope, which he succeeded in doing. But he was eventually brought to justice and killed by Midnighter. In our number 5 spot is Slipstream. Slipstream is a part of a group of villains who followed in the footsteps of the crime syndicate, but more on that group later. Slipstream, along with 6 other members of his evil team, were mistaken for heroes, and brought to Earth to participate in a charity event. They played along for a while until they began fighting the Justice League, but were ultimately defeated. Up next, number 4 is Johnny Quick from the Crime Syndicate. Getting back to the Crime Syndicate here, let's take a look at Johnny Quick of Earth 3, an antimatter Earth, who banded together with Owlman, Superwoman, Ultraman, and Power Ring, all alternates of Batman, Wonder Woman, Superman, and Green Lantern. They used their powers for personal gain, committing crimes. Luckily, the character died during Crisis on Infinite Earths, almost 20 years after his initial debut. And at number 3 is Johnny Quick of the Crime Society. Not to be mistaken with our last number, the Crime Society also takes place on Earth 3, except in the 52 multiverse. It's a world in which evil always triumphs over good, and the Crime Society are essentially the overlords of the planet. Johnny Quick is still the evil Flash. The Crime Society joins ranks with Monarch, and Quick fought against the Earth 2 Flash and the Tangent Flash during Countdown Arena, as well as participated in the invasion of Earth 51. While it's uncertain whether or not he died when Monarch's armor ruptured on Earth 51, annihilating everything, it's safe to say that it's likely since we haven't heard of the character since. Up next, number 2 is the Nazi Speedster from Earth 10. The Nazi Speedster of Earth 10 exists on a world in which Nazi Germany won the Second World War. He's part of the JL Axis, a group put together by Hitler composed of superpowered individuals, all working to serve his commands and dish out punishment to those who do not follow suit. The emblem on his chest contains 2 lightning bolts instead of 1, which are eerily resembling resembling the SS logo of the paramilitary organization of Hitler's during that time. The SS in real life were largely responsible for the genocides that took place during the Holocaust. So yeah, safe to say this Flash is most definitely evil. And finally, in our number 1 spot is the Red Death. The newest addition to our list is perhaps one of the most dangerous villainous versions of the Flash to date. From the Dark Knight's Metal event that opened up with the introduction of 7 evil alternate versions of Batman, the Red Death comes from Earth -52 in the Dark Multiverse, a multiverse that exists underneath the main multiverse and is filled with evil. Red Death is the combination of Batman and the Flash, when Batman steals his Speed Force, merging the two together. With Batman's mind and the Flash's abilities, this makes the Red Death a vicious threat, especially when you consider the kinds of trouble he could whip up by utilizing the Speed Force. As of this recording, not much has been revealed about the Red Death, so here's hoping we get to see more of this villain and the challenges he'll pose to the heroes of the main multiverse. Alright, there we have it, friends. Which of these Flashes is your favorite? Are there other versions of the sinister speedsters inspired by the Flash or from another Earth that we forgot to mention? Let us know in those comments below. And if you dug this video, please show us some love and hit those like and subscribe buttons. And hey, maybe check out one of our playlists on our channel, like our Top 10 Superheroes playlist, which features a whole lot more Flash. In the meantime, thanks for watching. I've been Kelly Pally and this has been Top 10 Nerd. I'll catch you on the next one.